Whether it's around the country or your town or county, decisions are being made every day that impact real people and real communities. Welcome to The Rural View, where we open the window for you to view Wisconsin farmers and rural residents and get a glimpse into the challenges they face.
Welcome to The Rural View. I'm here with I'm Jim Wren, along with
Amy Eckelberg.
Thank you, Amy. And today we have Joanna Guza from Guza Garlic, and we're excited. I'm excited because she's TikTok famous. Joanna, tell us a little bit about yourself.
So I grew up on a dairy farm, and then I purchased a house not too far down from the dairy farm, and we started growing garlic in 2018. So we started with 5 pounds, and it yielded about 50 pounds, and now we plant anywhere from 50 to 60 pounds, and it yields about 400 pounds of garlic. Besides the garlic business, I also am a farm broadcaster and also a podcast host and do some consulting work on the side, and also a mother of 4 children.
Like I said, Jim, no pressure. She's a professional.
Wow. I should just end now. That's awesome. So what do you do in your spare time?
I garden. So I also have a very big garden, and I like to can. I say I'm kind of one of those crunchy moms, but not too crunchy that I would let my kids get the measles, right? We still vaccinate and do all those types of things.
Okay.
But love to grow my own food.
Before we go too much farther, do you have any asparagus in your garden?
Just a little bit, enough that supplies our family.
Okay.
Jim won't let this die. I have a fascination with asparagus. We've been trying to get someone who grows asparagus in, maybe larger quantities to just give me the scoop. So it's like this running inside joke that we just can't get out of. Right, Jim?
It's the Rural View, one of the many Rural View never-ending stories.
Yes.
It's good for you, but not as good as garlic.
Yeah. Speaking of garlic, Joanna, why don't you just give us kind of some rundown of, garlic's kind of a interesting crop choice. So, how did you guys get started into it? And I feel like you're increasing every year too, so it's growing. So just give us kind of the history.
Yeah, so we were looking for a crop that we could grow on a small amount of acres. So we only own 2.25 acre right now, and garlic is a crop you can grow in a small plot. So where we grow our 400 pounds, it's only 100-foot by 30-foot area. So my husband approached me. He said, "What are your thoughts about growing garlic? You love to eat it. You love to garden. Why don't we, try doing this?" So I didn't even know how to grow garlic. It was something I never grew as a child or anything. So I looked into it, and I actually learned what you buy from the store is actually soft neck garlic. So soft neck garlic grows in warmer climates, so like California, Mexico, those areas. And what we grow is hard neck garlic. So it requires going through a cold cycle. So we plant it in the fall, usually the end of October, early November, and then we'll harvest in July, and then it takes time to cure. So it is more pungent, bold flavor, spice, everything compared to the soft neck garlic that you buy in the store. We do have some varieties that aren't as powerful, but most of our varieties, if you eat them raw, you will taste it in your mouth for 3 days or more because it is pretty potent.
So where did you learn all your garlic knowledge, though? Is there garlic school you go to, or where did you learn about everything garlic if you had no history in it?
We did talk to a local farm, so that was actually just down the road. We went and bought the garlic. So she gave us some tips. UW Extension had some resources online that I was able to find, but most of it was trial and error. And I will say too, like a lot of people say, our business model's a little backwards. I didn't really see who was interested. It was more like, I want to grow garlic. Can I do it? But I'm thankful we started so small. So once we had 50 pounds, I kind of slowly started getting the word out there. And then now, the word is out. A lot of people are learning about the garlic and want to know more about it. But yeah, it was definitely a trial and error. There's also tamarack garlic out in western Wisconsin. Jason Hovell owns it. I know he's slowing down. He's an agriculture tech ed teacher during the year, but we followed him and kind of used him as a resource. He probably doesn't know that, how much we stalked him online and saw his practices, because actually he was always about a week or two ahead of us. So once he did something, we're like, we know it's time for us. One thing that might be interesting to you guys is when we plant. So we actually soak our garlic. We pull all the bulbs apart. So we plant each individual clove, and we will soak them in a fish fertilizer for
Mhm.
like 8 to 10 hours. And then just before planting, we soak them in vodka. And we do that anywhere from it's like 10 minutes to 25 minutes right before it goes in the ground. And it serves as like a sterilizer. It gives the garlic a clean slate as it's in the ground. There is some controversy around that, though. Some people say when you put it in the vodka, you just got rid of your fertilizer that you put on it. We haven't really tested which way's best. We've just seen more people do it, the fertilizer, vodka, ground route, and that's what Jason did too. So that's kind of where we stayed with it. Maybe if we have more, I would probably test it out, but I'm not sure if we'd see much of a difference.
That's
Does it
fascinating.
float in the vodka? I mean, do you have to keep some? I mean, I guess I think of, bulbs, like a flower bulb, that it would almost float in that vodka. I mean, I'm thinking like a vat of vodka.
No, it does. We use 5-gallon pails, so that's what
Oh,
we keep it in
well,
the
that's
fish
a vat
fertilizer,
for
and then we.
me.
Do you have a
Yeah.
vodka supplier, or you're just going to Costco and loading up on the Costco vodka?
The first year I used the nice vodka, and then I'm like, "Oh, it's not picky." So I get the Fleischmann's, go to Discount Liquor. They question why I'm buying 10 bottles of this with my children. I tell them it's to grow garlic.
They're like, "Yeah,
So
sure,
then you
okay."
do margaritas at your place after you're done planting, or?
Yeah, after we wash our hands and get all that fertilizer off, yes. We do actually, that's how we reward our workers. So,
Good.
some people would probably say, why don't you grow more? Our garlic sells out in 3 days. Last year, we had 300 pounds, sold it in 3 days. And they're like, well, why don't you grow more? Garlic is very labor intensive.
Yeah.
So everything we do is by hand, or my husband designed a few different tools. So we have a dibbler that will make 60 holes at once, and then we can, plant a lot faster. He had a raised bed maker, but like now harvest, if we have to hand shovel all of it, and it's a lot
Right.
of work. And there are some tools where you can get a big blade that will come underneath and lift all the garlic up. But right now, we don't have a tractor that has enough horsepower to do that. So that's kind of why we've slowly started growing more. But if we want to get on a bigger scale, my husband's an engineer, so he needs to design some more of those things to make our job a little bit easier, because it is like, I'll tell you how much labor it is. So with our firstborn, I was 39 weeks pregnant, and the whole time I'm planting, I'm like, gosh, I just feel uncomfortable. And as I'm walking around, was it 12 hours later, I was delivering our
Mhm.
firstborn child. That's how labor intensive garlic planting is.
That
That
is
worked for my
I mean,
wife
it's,
when we were milking cows,
yeah.
and we were out back moving heifers, and she came came in, we were milking, and she goes, "Yeah, I think it's time to go."
Right?
So, Joanna, how many different types of garlic do you grow?
So I don't know how many garlic varieties there are total, but we grow 5 different varieties. We just dropped down to 5. We used to have 6, but 2 of our varieties were really similar. So we have a Georgian Fire and Siberian. Those are really big cloved. So when you pull that bulb out, you're only going to get about 4 to 6 cloves per bulb. And then our other varieties are Spanish Roja, Persian Star, German Red, and Spanish Roja. I don't know if I said those correctly. I didn't repeat them. There should be 5 total. Those have more cloves per bulb. So that has anywhere from like 8 to 12 cloves. So usually people, when they say, well, what should I get? I always ask, what are you going to do with it? If you're going to be making pizza sauce or sauce, you might want our bigger clove, because then you don't have to peel as many. And you probably don't have to add as much garlic either, because it is so potent. But if you're going to be canning pickles, I wouldn't use our bigger cloved ones. I would use a bulb that has more variety. Also, if you're planning on making like something fresh, like a pesto, I would not use our spicy garlic varieties, because it won't taste. It will, unless you like really spicy things and really garlic flavor, it won't taste as good. You'll want more of our mild, more traditional garlic variety.
So do you sell just, by your farm, or do you have, a market, or people online, or how do you market?
Yeah, that's a really good question because that was something we just like figured out as we went. We have pickup days. So everyone comes to our house. So we will host 2 days in August. And it used to be, you can have an order, but you don't have to just show up and we'll talk about it. Well, last year I sold out before we even did our pickup days. So I said, you need to have an order in order to come get garlic. So my goal for the future is to develop an online store. So hoping to have that store. I'm so busy with the kids and things like that. I couldn't go places. So hopefully kind of keeping that method of people come to us or we will ship it to them.
So now, where is your farm at?
It's in Denmark. So we're
Okay.
just outside of Denmark.
Okay.
And then we're looking at building a house next year. So we'll have 5 acres then, where our house will be, and then we'll hopefully be able to rotate it. So garlic can withstand almost anything, but it hates being wet and it doesn't like to be planted in the same spot year after year. So that's kind of been my struggle now with our small amount of acres and trying to grow more. I try to get at least 2 crops in before the next garlic round. So it's not 2 years, it's 2 crops. So I'll usually put a cover crop in and then it'll be my garden and then it'll be the garlic again.
Can you use any of the bulbs from year to year?
Yes. Yep. We keep our biggest bulbs. Anything that's 2 inches or greater in diameter is considered seed garlic. So
Sure.
we do sell that to people, but it is good to kind of mix it in. So it was probably 4 years ago. We bought a few more of a variety from another farmer. And probably now this fall, we'll buy from another farmer just to kind of have that mix in there. So we don't always have just our same seed garlic. Which is interesting because I did some stories on potatoes, and they're not allowed to keep their potatoes as their seed, and I thought that was interesting because for our garlic, we keep it.
Yeah, as of now, until somebody gets in it, right? Because we used to be able to
Yeah.
keep our own soybeans back in the day.
Mm,
But once, that was when they were conventional beans. We used to grow a bunch of conventional beans, but now that they're not conventional, you can't keep Roundup Ready beans or anything like that
yeah.
anymore.
One challenge that we overcame, and this was actually the year that I delivered our firstborn baby. It was the fall of 2019. So people will remember how wet that year was.
Oh yeah.
Most of our garlic rotted in the ground because it was so wet, and that was, like, probably the biggest learning curve that we learned to do raised beds. So it's about 2 inches off the ground, and that helps the water drain off and the garlic doesn't sit in any wetness.
So I mean, you're lucky enough that you can have it all sold. But I mean, I would imagine you have any seed garlic or anything that you have left over, you're going to have to store in the basement or something, right? Keep it
Yes,
nice and
yep.
dry. And the other question I have for you is, when people are thinking about garlic, obviously when we see them in the store, we see them in a bulb. Like, is when it's in the garden? Is it almost looks like a onion, in similar to an onion,
Yes.
right?
Yep. It looks just like an onion. It has, I would say, more, I call them leaves that sprout out.
Uh-huh.
So now that we harvested all of our garlic scapes, we actually watch for the leaves to dry. So once a bottom leaf dries off, that means an outside layer of that garlic has went away. So by the time there's bottom 2, 3 leaves dry, we want to make sure we harvest by then.
I'm curious about how you find your customer base, Joanna. So, because you said you just started growing garlic and then you
Oh
were
no.
hoping the people would come. So, why don't we share a little bit about that?
So one of the biggest thing that's been the most helpful with selling our garlic is that we get all their contact information. So I had an online form last year, and with that online form, I got everyone's email. So I will always email people out, and most of the people are all local from Green Bay, Denmark area. We do ship out some garlic, so I've shipped all the way to Las Vegas, the East Coast. For to keep it local because it is a little stressful, and I haven't found a good system with packaging and shipping and calculating costs. Really fluctuated. Like sent to Las Vegas was almost $25 just in the shipping costs, where some of the local pieces is like $12, to ship it. But I would say our customers range from people that just love garlic, people that don't want to grow their own, people that have tried it and can't. We sell to a lot of people that do grow their own. So when we sell our seed garlic that is 2 inches or greater in diameter, and it's obviously a higher, we can sell it for more money. Some people will do like small, medium, and large. We just do anything under 2 inches is this price, anything over 2 inches is this price.
Can you tell us about, like the input? I mean, so I think it's great you're going to go online. You have local aspects. I mean, do you sell like in, a pound, or is it a clove? Or, I mean, how do you resource that? And then, I mean, kind of give everybody an idea of what garlic costs and so forth like that.
Yeah, so we sell it by the pound, and we initially started doing that just to move it. I didn't want to be sitting on a bunch of garlic, so I said, no questions asked, we're just doing the pound. And now it's funny how many people tell us I should have bought more than 1 pound because of how much they use and keeping it. It'll last 6 to 9 months. In the future, I would like to do a variety pack. A lot of people ask us to do that, but that would just require so much more time and so much more resources in terms of more like netting, more labels, more, time to organize. So I would say that's probably going to be pretty expensive if I try to do that because I know it's going to probably be a high demand and it's going to demand a lot of my time. And I want it to move a lot of our garlic. So our garlic ranges anywhere from $15 a pound to $25 a pound. I will tell you, it's not something we're currently getting super wealthy on. It's just a nice piece that we get a good chunk of money every summer and we invest it for our children. So it's a nice way where we can save for them each year. We also teach them about how food grows. They get to know how hard it is to grow your own food. I mean, my husband and I both grew up on farms, so we already understand that. But now we got our children involved. We have a funny little saying at home because our kids now have been starting to ask about going to Disney. And I said, you will have to calculate how much Disney costs and then how much garlic we need to grow in order to pay for Disney. And that'll give them all a taste, literally, of the amount of work it takes to
You're going to have
save
50
and go on
acres of garlic
vacation.
before you know it.
Yes. And the other contingency is they have to be able to walk 3 miles without whining. So,
In bare feet, uphill.
yeah. Well, we don't torture our kids like the boomers and traditionalists probably did to
Uh,
you, Jim.
well, I still do it to my kids. What the heck?
One thing that I saw recently is that you've been posting about garlic scapes because right now you just got done harvesting garlic scapes and sharing them with the restaurants. So, do you want to just share a little bit about what is garlic scapes, and then also maybe about like the restaurants and how they even use the product?
So our garlic scapes, that's a byproduct. So that's how the garlic would reproduce itself. And that's what kind of differentiates from soft neck and hard neck. So when you pull our bulbs apart, you will see this hard stem right in the middle. And that's where the garlic scape was coming up. It would flower and then it would plant its seeds. And if you planted a garlic by seed, it would take 3 years before it would become a bulb. So that's why we always plant the clove. So when the garlic scape starts to show, and starts to curve over, that's when we know it's time to harvest it. So we'll snap them off. And then I tried to sell them to the local community, but it was really hard. Like I needed this to move quickly. I didn't want to hold on to it, and no one knew how to use them. So then I thought, okay, let's see if I can, sell them in bulk. So actually, initially I called a grocery store. I needed to carry insurance, like specifically for the scapes, and it's not something I make a lot of money off of. So I'm like, no, I'm not going to carry insurance just to sell you like 30 pounds of scapes. And we, like this year, we had probably around 80 pounds that we needed to get rid of. And I should have mentioned too, when you snap off the garlic scape, more energy goes into growing the garlic bulb than trying to reproduce itself. So that's why we do it. And there's also some controversy around that. Some people say you shouldn't do it because you cause more stress to the garlic plant, and just that stress then makes them not get bigger. But I would err on the side of when you snap that off, more energy is going to go down to the ground and not be shooting up. And then back to who we were selling it to, once the grocery store didn't work out, I reached out to a few restaurants and then had a handful of them last year, worked out really well. They take them in bulk, anywhere from 10 to 20 pounds at a time. So that really helps me out. And I actually run a deal with them. So I sell them at half price if they post about us on social media. So a lot of people think, we got the #1 restaurant in Green Bay, Play Bistro, to buy our garlic scapes. And then we got on their platform and they shared about us. And that had a very high money value to me. My engineering husband goes, "You're crazy. You sold that for like $20." And, and I didn't charge a delivery fee because I said to be on their social platforms, I would have to pay. If you pay an influencer now, you're paying hundreds of dollars to be on their platform. So that was the thing. And then now these chefs talk about it and they give people ideas of how to cook with the garlic scapes. So then other people want to go to the farmers markets, or we sold to a farm stand this year, and then they were able to go purchase them there. So that's worked out really well. And I will tell you too, about the marketing side, this year I went on TikTok. I mean, Jim referenced that. I reached so many people this year on TikTok and sold so many scapes because of that relationship. And it was funny. I had one chef said to me, he goes, "You know how many people sent me your video and said, you have to support this family farm?" And it's just so fascinating where I wasn't using a trending audio. I just put my face in the garlic, said who I was, said what I did, and I got 1 million views on it. It's just quite remarkable that you don't have to overcomplicate it. The people will eventually come to you. Just be genuine, be yourself, try to educate them, keep it at a simple level. And I mean, we have our subscription email. I had 879 people subscribe to it. I cannot sell all of them garlic because I don't grow enough. So actually now that's
Right.
my navigating this year is how I will make sure all my past customers get the opportunity to order first, but I know I won't get them, but I want their business in the future. So I'm hoping that I can say, "Hey, I have a young family. We are slowly evolving to plant more. Please stick with us. I have your contact. I will reach out to you every year." Try to do something like that because now I feel bad. The Midwest nice in me is like, I can't give it to everyone, but hopefully in the
That's
future
a
I
good
can.
problem to have.
Yes. Yeah.
And
So
hopefully you'll like us on your TikTok, because then now Amy and I will be famous. I mean, that's what we ask every guest on the podcast, to make sure you like and share, because otherwise
yeah.
Amy says she's going to fire me by the end of the year.
I have never
She's a
said
rough
that.
boss to work for.
I have to clarify that. Every time I say that. So I don't know, we brought it up in a board meeting one time and I said, "You guys all have to like, because otherwise I'm going to get fired." And, of course somebody says, "Well, that'll cut you in pay." And I said, "Half of nothing's still nothing." Can you tell us, a little bit some of your other jobs? Obviously you came from a dairy farm, but you're farm broadcast. Tell us about farm broadcasting.
Yeah, so I work 2 days a week. I work for Midwest Communications. So I'm in Northeast Wisconsin. Primarily, a lot of my markets are in Green Bay, but I do send audio up to Wausau and Sheboygan. A lot of my content is feature based, so stuff that has a longer shelf life because I do schedule things out since I am only here 2 days a week. I run the WISCO Wisconsin WISCO AG platforms. So that's me behind it. But it's always been my dream to be a farm broadcaster. And it's then opened the door to other podcasting opportunities that I do. I will moderate and facilitate panels, hoping to do more social media. So that's been a nice side job opportunity.
All right. Well, is there anything we didn't cover, Jim? Because otherwise, I feel like we covered a good amount of garlic stuff. I know you just talked about Joanna's many other jobs.
Yep. Yep. The other question that I had is, what's something that people might find interesting about you?
Hmm.
I mean, you just told us you wanted to be a farm broadcaster, and I feel that. I told everybody I wanted to be Orion Samuelson when I was a kid.
Yeah. I feel like probably the most interesting thing that I would always say is that I'm a garlic farmer, and it feels weird to say that. I mean, my husband and we both figured it out. We're both fifth generation farmers, but first generation garlic farmers. So I would say that's interesting about me. I ran a marathon. I feel like that's kind of an
Nice.
interesting topic, but that was now over 10 years ago. So I feel like I can't say that anymore.
Well, you got to get back in it again now.
Yeah. I've started to dabble into some keynote speaking, which I never thought would be an avenue
Nice.
that I could do. But I love balancing motherhood and career. And I'm very thankful for my husband's occupation that makes doing this that I can be as bold as I can, because he kind of told me at one point, he goes, "You don't need to work." And I'm like, okay, so I can just have fun and be bold and do whatever I want. And I feel like it's given me the confidence to do those things because he has a stable job and income but we get to have a lot of fun. Garlic farming, and I should mention tractor pulling. My husband is a tractor puller that travels around the United States and does different pulls through the National Tractor Pullers Association. So he won the Seymour pull in Wisconsin, so that's pretty impressive. Your listeners might like to hear that. His dad also won this year in Indiana. So they do have a lot of fun with that. They're really smart when it comes to the engines. They drive a mini rod. So it has 2,500 horsepower and only weighs 2,050 pounds with them in it. So I actually thought, hey, I'm a farm girl. I could drive a mini rod. No. I saw some of their crazy rides that they go on. I said, there's no way I am going to drive that.
Yeah, my worry is if somebody's asked a couple times ago, track if I want to take the Polar out, I'm like, I can just see that number one piston flying off, and I'm the one driving, and I can just see all the money going out. Oh,
Yeah,
Jim, you got to pay for that now. So I
right.
just stay
Yeah,
off. I announced the tractor pulls. That's as close as I get to it now.
that's an important job.
Yeah, it's very repetitious.
I believe it.
Let's give him a big hand. Oh, you got over 100 foot.
You do a fantastic job of not only sharing your farm story, but also farm stories from Farm Bureau members across the state and farmers all over Wisconsin. And I do feel like I just need to give some kudos to that because sharing your story, whatever the story is so important. So we can connect all of those people who are eating our food and buying our products with the very first seed that goes into the ground or the family that is growing it. It's just so important, and you do a really fantastic job. So before we moved into quick fire, I just wanted to give you kudos for doing that and say how much it is appreciated by all of us at Farm Bureau.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
All right, Jim, I think we're ready
Okay.
for quick fire. You can proceed.
I just wanted to hear a little bit more about your involvement with Farm Bureau and being a finalist in the under 35 program and, you know, some other things that you do for us at Farm Bureau.
Yeah, that has been a really fun partnership, and it- it's definitely built my confidence in the social media space, and it made me really realize that people just want the basics. They want to know how things go. So, like we did the Leaders of the Land series, we did the feature with the cabbage farm, and that went viral. We got over like a 500,000 views on it just on one platform. I don't know what it would be across all the platforms that we shared it on, but it was really successful. And now, when you had one successful post, how can we keep sharing that? So, actually, recently around St. Patrick's Day, a lot of people are eating sauerkraut. So, I tried to pull those videos and try to share them again and tie them into the times that we're experiencing now. Like, if you're wondering where that sauerkraut came from, it probably came from Wisconsin. And I think I got like 2 million views just on that one video. So it's been really great teaming up with Farm Bureau, getting connected to these other farms, these different industries, showing the diversity. And even when it's not, if it's just another dairy farm, what can we find that's unique in there and share that online? And it's been fun because they've all really performed really well and kind of gave me the confidence too to like, hey, let's keep sharing this. And oh, we only shared it one time. It's okay to share it again. If we have something that does good, let's keep trying to get it to go viral and share those things. I actually even had these really high profile accounts message me and ask if they could have the video because they wanted to share it on their platforms. And I actually personally reached out to the farm and said, "You are a social media gold mine. We need to get you guys on social media. I'm not going to sell this. Technically the radio station owns it." I said, "We're going to keep this and I'm going to help you build your social channels. So when you get all your cabbage planted, or maybe after it's harvested, call me and let's get this going because there's people out there that want to use your content because it's so
Sure.
unique."
We'll finish up here with some quick fire questions that we ask every one of our guests. And it's very simple, but honest answers here. We don't want to pressure you at all. The first one is chocolate milk or white milk?
Chocolate milk. Or 50-50. Actually, that's what I grew up having.
Oh.
So we would mix half chocolate, half white, so it wasn't too chocolatey.
The next quick fire question is red tractors or green tractors in your family?
Green tractors all the way, and John Deere, because my husband would say, "Oh, she loves the Oliver." Nope, I grew up driving the John Deere tractor, and I used being a redhead to my advantage, and I always got the cab tractor with air conditioning because I said, "I have fair skin, and I'm gonna get burnt." So I kinda got the royal treatment on the farm because I was not gonna drive a cabless tractor with my fair skin.
I had to try that.
You're gonna need a wig.
Yeah. uh, planting or harvesting?
I'd probably pick harvesting, even though it's a lot of work and it's really hot, it's very rewarding to see your crop come up. That's probably my favorite.
All right, next question is what is your favorite Wisconsin product?
If it can be alcohol. Oh man, no, I shouldn't do that. Let's keep it appropriate. My favorite Wisconsin product. That's really challenging. I will probably say, and this isn't to like brown nose you guys, but I do love sauerkraut. And Wisconsin ranks number 1 for sauerkraut production, and that's what we did the story on. And I literally will pile the sauerkraut on anything I eat and love to consume it. So I'll say sauerkraut.
Good answer. I like that. All right. Well, it's summertime, and what's the best thing to put on the grill? These are hard questions, I know.
They are. So my husband's gotten really into smoking meats. So I would have to say I love when he makes ribs are probably my favorite. If we can
Ooh.
have ribs and then mac and cheese, it is so good. It's like your feel good food. So ribs, anything pork.
All right, July is ice cream month, right? So this question plays into that a little bit. Custard, soft serve, or hard served ice cream?
Definitely between the custard or the hard served ice cream. But in particular, if you haven't tried Quick Trip's ice cream, it is so good. So usually when I stop to get gas, I will go get some Quick Trip ice cream. Prefer the one, and now the name is, but anything with like caramel and chocolate mixed in is definitely my favorite.
I would agree. I don't think I could pick between all of them. I think all ice cream is good.
I do feel
True.
like that was kind of a
True.
trick question. Like, honestly,
Yeah.
I'll eat it all.
Yeah. Right. There's no such thing as bad ice cream.
All right, that's all we have. So I think we'll wrap there. Thank you for joining us, Joanna, and talking about all things garlic and a little bit about storytelling. We really appreciate it. And again, thank you for all you do for Wisconsin farmers.
Well, thank you guys. Appreciate your time.
Interested in more news from Wisconsin Farm Bureau? Subscribe to Ag Newswire. Delivered weekly to your email inbox, Ag Newswire is your connection to the latest news from Wisconsin Farm Bureau and the agriculture industry. Subscribe now at the link in our show notes.